ハワイにそうめんサラダがあってっていうのは知らなかったし、で、ハワイに行ってやっと食べられたって感じが。
There are two competing Japanese summer foods that are my favorite.
ちいちゃんといえばたこ焼きだね。
It's fascinating to watch. It's so
I know.
delicious. If you ever have the opportunity, I would highly recommend getting takoyaki from a street vendor.
Master of the takoyaki making.
I mean, there's the barbecue, the food, and then there's barbecue, sort of the activity.
We say hiyashi tanuki or hiyashi kitsune udon. Well, like, it gets really, really complicated.
Welcome to the Lost in Japanglish podcast delivered to you in a bilingual format.
ロスジャパチャンネルへようこそ。日本語と英語のバイリンガル形式でお送りしています。
I'm Chieko.
そしてやっこです。
And today we're talking about our favorite summer foods in Japan and the United States.
今日は夏の食べ物について考えていきたいと思います。
So, Yaku-chan, there are so many summer-specific 日本の yummy things that we want to talk about today. First I want to start, what is your favorite?
もうそれはね、もう決まってます。そうめんが大好きです。夏といえばそうめんでしょって感じだね。
So そうめん, I think can be served both hot and cold, but obviously in the summer it's going to be cold そうめん。
もちろん。一応ね、あったかいと乳麺とかいろいろあるんだけど、やっぱり、for 夏 it's cold and we call it そうめんだね。
I don't know that we have anything really similar to that. そうめんっていうアメリカで but
そうだね。
remember we had そうめん salad in Hawaii.
Yes.
It's very popular there.
そう、やっこね、それは知らなくって、そうめん大好きだから、基本的にそうめんフリークなところがあるんだけど、ハワイにそうめんサラダがあってっていうのは知らなかったし、そのポッドキャストの時こう話しててさ、初めて知って、で、ハワイに行ってやっと食べられたって感じがあったから最高だったけど、ちょっと独特な感じはしたね。
Yeah, I feel like it's the perfect example of like a typical American salad merging with Japanese foods to create this lovely, refreshing somen sarada.
Yeah, because here we have like, for somen, we have like negi, which is like the green onions. And it's pretty stereotype how we have it. Of course, there's like little, みょうがとかちょっと違う薬味を乗っけたりするけど、it was, in Hawaii, it was really like a salad, like with lettuce みたいな、なんつうんだろう、そういうのから。それは、ちょっと新鮮だったよね。
So I have to say that there are two competing Japanese summer foods that are my favorite. And it's really hard for me to pick because they're so different. The first one is, I consider this a summer food because I think about summer festivals, but it's takoyaki.
もうちいちゃんといえばたこ焼きだね。
I love takoyaki, which are these little dough balls with octopus in them. And at the summer festivals, you see these vendors and they have these little sticks and they're cooking up the takoyaki and it's like they do it really fast and they're like, and they like make the little balls and it's fascinating to watch. It's so delicious. If you ever have the opportunity, I would highly recommend getting takoyaki from a street vendor in the summertime in Japan.
だよね。もう it's like master of the takoyaki making, like, right? It's so fast and it's very efficient. なんつだろうね。あれはあれで職人技だよね。
So that one competes with a completely different food, which is also my favorite, which is kakigori.
そうね。かき氷はね、わかる。かき氷はやっぱり、まあそうめんと同じくらい美味しいし、やっぱ夏必要だからっていうのはあるけど、これもね、ハワイ行った時びっくりしたんだよ。かき氷のお店がちゃんとあって、で、ちゃんと白玉が乗ってるっ のもゲットできるっていうのはびっくりしたね。
Yes, so that's
うん。
only that's really only in Hawaii.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen it here. I live in Washington State, and I've
うん。
never seen that here.
うー
So Hawaii
ん。
wa, I feel like is like the special place that merges like Japanese culture and
う
American
ん。
culture and so many
I
other, and obviously
know.
Hawaiian culture and so
うー
many different things,
ん。
cultures are coming together.
うんふん、う
Um,
んふん。
アメリカでは we typically have snow cones. And it's not
ほう。
かき氷とは違う。
あ、あるね、スノーコーン。なんか今、
Yeah.
ヒットした、思い出した。
Like it
何が
comes in
違う
this
んだっけ？
paper cone,
Okay.
right? And then the ice is shaped, but the ice is much more chunky.
Oh, was
なんか
it?
サラサラしてないんだよね、snow cones.
な
It's
るほ
it's
ど。
it's much more chunky.
うん
And
ふん、
then
うん
the
ふん。
biggest difference is the かけるやつ。
はいはい。
It's very sugary. It's very American flavors. So you're
うんふ
gonna
ん、
get
う
the
ん。
blue raspberry. You're gonna get it's very sweet.
Yes. はい。
It's like we've always talked about the different flavors of grape, Americano
Oh, yeah.
grape, and Japanese
Oh, it's
artificial
so
flavored
true.
grape. Peaches, totally different. いち
うん
ごの
ふん。
flavor, totally different, even though it's the
different.
same fruit.
うん、う
Yeah.
んふん。
So アメリカだとやっぱりアメリカの味。
だ
It's
よ
very, very
ね。
dense. It's very, very sweet. 日本のはやっぱりさっぱりした。I think
そう。
it has a Japanese flavor. So
そ
even
う
though
だ
they're
ね。
both made out of snow, or made out of snow, both made out of
ア
ice.
イス。
か
はい、
き氷は
は
I
い。
think it's a little bit more サラサラしてて、
うん、う
uh,
ん。
and certainly it's the toppings
そう
that
だ
go
ね。
on it.
確かに、かき氷は基本的に削ってるから、シ
はい。
ェイブアイスとか言うよね、アメリ
Yeah,
カで
so in
も。
Hawaii they call it shave ice.
そうだよね、そうだよね。だか
うん。
ら、確かにかき氷はそうなってるのに対して、スノーコーンって今本当にちいちゃんが言って、子供の頃を思い出しちゃった感じなんだけど、この
はい。
アイスみたいな形に丸く乗っかってるんだっけ？
はい。It's like a
だよね。
round. Yeah, it's
round
because you scoop it
そう
on.
スクーベルなんだよね。だから、で、確かにちょっとゴリゴリ、ちょっと氷のか
はい。
けらが入ってるっていう
はい。
感じ思い出したし、で、もうね、ヤコはね、ブルーラズベリーのシロップがもうアメリカンな感じが大好きなんだけ
Yes.
ど。
Yes.
ね、そこは確かに違うし、だって、日本だとかき氷に、We have the 宇治金時 flavor?
Oh, my favorite.
さすが。そう。ちいちゃんは好
Yes.
きだよ
So
ね。
for people who don't know, can you
うん
explain what that is?
Oh my gosh, that's so tough. It's the 宇治金時 flavor っていうのかな? It's
うん。
basically green tea flavor. It's
う
matcha
ん。
flavored syrup on the shave ice, but it's green for
うん。
one. And then you have like uncle, the sweet
う
red
ん。
beans
うん。
paste on the side,
う
and
ん。
maybe the small round mochis on the side
は
as
い。
well.
はい。
And if you want to get fancier, you can put like the kinoko powder on
う
top, or
ん。うん。
the actual gold sprinkles on top. I mean, there's like, you can
ああ、
do a lot of things with it, but
いいね。
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like, I
Mm.
feel like very Japanese.
Yes, yes.
うん。Let's run through some of the other popular summertime Japanese foods.
Okay, okay, okay. そうだね。他に言ったら、やっぱり思うのが冷やし系、冷やし中華とか、
はい。
冷やしうどんとか、そういうの
はい。
が結構、
Oh,
yeah. So it's,
I don't
冷
know
や
if
し
I've
means,
ever had hiyashi udon.
well, this starts a whole new conversation where, have you heard of 冷やしtanuki? Or
No.
冷やし、so we have udon and soba that's pretty popular and we eat
は
it
い。
cold as well.
はい。
And so we call it hiyashi something, but
う
we don't
ん。
say hiyashi udon. We don't say hiyashi soba. We say hiyashi tanuki or hiyashi kitsune udon. Well, like it
は
gets
い。
really, really complicated. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a whole name controversy because it's called differently in Tokyo and in
う
Osaka.
ん。
So,
regional
and
differences.
So my mom is from the Tokyo area, and my dad is from the Kansai, Osaka area. And so they have different names for these things, which is like, for me, it's just, it gets really complicated. But we do eat the noodles cold. Whether it's ramen style, which is hiyashi-chuka, or with the udon and soba style, which is those. And that's very popular here, and I love those too. って感じかな。
So one of my dad's most favorite summertime foods is suika.
スイカもあるね。はい。はい。
So we have to talk about the difference between suika, 日本のスイカと the American watermelon, because they don't, like they once you cut it and you're eating it, it's kind of the same. But like 日本のスイカは they're round and they're very cute. And I say cute because they're small. I mean, I feel like anything that's small is always automatically cute, right? Like it's like, oh, kawaii, because it's small. And it's has like the black stripies on the outside. And, it's very different from the American watermelon, which is ginormous in comparison. It's literally like the size of 2 Nihon no suikas. But it's like this big, long, it's kind of oblong, right?
こういうね、こう、横長に広い感じで、日本の丸とは違うよね。
And I feel like, why is it that we both have suika wari?
そう、それはでもね、知らなかった。やっぱりスイカ割りって言ったら、I think it was a Japanese thing, so I didn't know that you had it in the States, and it's something popular in the summertime. 日本みたいに目隠しをしてこうやって割るの
？Hi, yeah, like as
my gosh.
as a game, I feel like that's a thing, right? Like I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know if it was imported, or if it's just coincidentally like people around the world do this with watermelons.
Okay, so what about the こう種飛ばし? We have seeds in the watermelons, and what we do as kids, and maybe even for games as adults, we would spit the seed out and see who can spit it out the farthest. みたいな
Okay,
game.
I can't say I've ever played that. And part of it is because a lot of times you can get seedless watermelon.
ほう、さすがだね。
But like I feel like watermelon is a very, like すごいさっぱりしてるから it's a very popular summertime food.
ね、こう縁側昔の like at an old Japanese house, and you have that porch thing, and you sit there and you have your watermelon. That's like the typical picture だよね。
はい。
未だに機会があればやるし、好きだしって感じだね。
Is there any other food that we have to mention for 日本の summertime food that people should try?
一つは、うなぎだね。Like, unagi is also popular in the summertime because it's protein, it's, you know, こう、元気が出るっていう意味でみんなが食べるんだけど、I can't say it's that popular among the people outside from Japan って感じはするかな。
Yeah, unagi is eel for people who don't know. There's saltwater eel. Well, I guess there's freshwater eel and saltwater eel. But
we have different types.
My mom told me a story about that my dad used to go unagi fishing in the river. He lives in inaka じゃない?
はい、はい。
He used to go fish for eels in the river. And I was like, oh, what such a country kid that my dad was.
Yeah, that's very country. And I do believe that there are people who, do that in the countryside these days as well. But that's 田舎のいい風景だよね。
Yeah. So if you want to try some very authentic Japanese summertime foods, maybe unagi would be a good choice.
そうね。It's grilled, so it smells nice too.
Yeah.
だね。
So, Yaku, you've spent some summers here in the States. Tell me what comes to mind for you when we say American summertime foods?
もう、なんて言ってもバーベキューだね。
Yes.
そう
I think everybody would say that. Like
でしょ
barbecue. Yeah, summertime
Yeah.
barbecue. It's all American.
でしょそう。なんかさ、このアメリカと夏をかけたらもう必ずバーベキューが生まれるって感じがするよね。そう。
Yes, it's so popular. Absolutely. And, you know, you
うん
can barbecue anything, right? Like
う
everything
ん
from hamburgers and steaks
そう
and
そうそうそうそう。
vegetables.
うん
And
うん。
yeah, you can barbecue oysters. You can barbecue anything. So,
そう。どっかでバーベキューやってるとさ、なんかもう即座にアメリカのにいる感じっていう
yes.
ね、それがすごく感じるぐらいアメリカといえばバーベキューだなと思うんだけど、実際に夏場に、ヤコがちーちゃんに聞きたいのは、どのくらいバーベキューしてるもんなの夏って。結構やっぱり頻繁にやる？
I mean, I think that's going to depend hugely across the board, right?
まあね、
But
そう
I
ね。
can tell
は
you
い。
in my family, like John, my husband loves to barbecue, and I love eating barbecue. So we probably grill in the summertime. It's pretty much as time will allow. So it's a few times a week
あ
we'll grill food on
で
the
し
barbecue.
ょでしょそれが多分日本人からしてみたら、週に2、3回みたいな。それす
Yeah.
ごい頻繁にやってるって感じはするも
Yes.
んね。
Yes, to grill on the barbecue. And the other, you know, I think the other component to barbecuing is like, let's have a barbecue with a group of friends and have a bunch of people over and grill and eat food and hang out. Like that's, I mean, there's the barbecue, the food, and then there's barbecue, sort of the activity, if you will.
そうだよね。
And that's super fun. And that's very much a fun way for, I think, Americans enjoy to get the neighbors together, get your friends together and have a barbecue.
そう。そのパーティーみたいな、こうみんなで囲んでっていうのがすごく、アメリカっぽいっていうか、アメリカのではそういう風に楽しまれているものだっていうのがやっぱね、ヤコも大好きなところで、日本で言うとちょっと鍋を囲むみたいな感じになるのかな、感覚的にはと思うんだけど、
Yes.
それがさ、いいよね。なんかみんなでワイワイみたいなところが。
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest cultural differences between Japan and the United States is we like to live and hang out in our yards in the summertime when the weather is nice, right? And it becomes an extension of our living space. So, you know, homes sometimes have outdoor kitchens, and we have lounge chairs and seating and dining tables and all the things that you would normally have inside, also outside.
そうね。
And because we like to host in our homes, right? We have people come over and we have a backyard barbecue. That's a cult, you know, I think a very American cultural popular activity. 日本では I feel like people don't tend to live in their backyards. It's like you look at your backyard.
そうなのよね。そこ違うよね、確かにね。日本人は見る。まあ、どうしても狭くなってるっていうところはあるからしょうがないんだけど、そのアメリカのその外で、そのリビングの環境、リビング、キッチンの環境を外にそのままボーンって持っていっちゃって、こう、で、人呼んでパーティーみたいな感じのね、そこがちょっと、まあ、日本でもだんだんそういう風にやっていってる人もいるけど、根本的にね、このベーシックリーに違うところはあるかなと思うし、実際にさ、ちーちゃんたちって何を乗っけてる
？We do a lot of salmon, like proteins. We do a lot of salmon, steaks, tri-tips, burgers we do sometimes. We grill vegetables, potatoes. I mean, we do a lot of the cooking on the grill.
なるほどね。なんか、そこが、ヤッコも見て、なんかお肉を乗せてるっていうイメージ。ここもまたアメリカンな感じがするんだよね。その匂いが、こう、クンクンクンクンいいなって感じなんだけど。そうだ、そこも結構アメリカンだな。なんかいろんなタイプのお肉を乗っける。そのハンバーグ用にとか、リブ系のものとかさ。で、それをみんなで、 ね、こう頬張ってる感じがあるんだけど、この何を乗っけるかっていうのは、ちょっと日本だとさ、結構鉄板系のものもやったりするんだよね。バーベキュー
Yes.
とはいえ。
Yeah.
Like we do the yakisoba a lot, I think.
はい。Yeah,
Right?
that's like so different.
Right? It's still
うん
barbecue to us,
Yeah.
but I've never seen people do noodles in
う
the
ん。
States
あんまり
っていう感じ。
ないね。Yeah, we
ない
don't
よ
tend to
ね。
do like stir fries, that kind of stuff.
うんうんう
What you will see, which I don't know if I've ever seen this in Japan, is
ん。
corn
う
on the
ん。
cob.
あ、で、やるやる。やるけど、こう、なんていうの、ぶつ切りにして、乗っけ
うん。
て、
はい。
で、まあ焼くだけかな。ちょっとね、ソイソースをこ
はい。
う、塗ってとかやったり
はい。
する
う
感じかな。
ん。
味付けとしては。うんうん
Uh-huh.
うん。い
Yeah.
や。
Like corn on the cob. I mean, we grill. That's a really American summertime
あ
grill
あ、そうなん
thing.
だね。
Yeah.
なんか、早くやりたい。
Because, we have our Independence Day in July. It's July 4th. And that's a
ああ。
big celebration for us. And
うん
so
ふん、うん
summertime
ふ
is
ん。
always, kind of loosely ties to that holiday. And there's always, lots of barbecues and things that happen around the 4th of July. Uh,
そ
Another
うだね。
thing, that we like to do in
う
our
んふん。
backyards is hang out and have a fire pit, right? That we might sit around and hang out with.
は
Um,
い。
and with that comes s'mores.
う
Like
ん。
if you go camping, you got to do s'mores. If you
う
have a
んうん。
fire pit, you got to do s'mores. Like I feel like that's also a very popular summertime food.
ねえ、なんかさ、夏といえば焚き火したいって感じなんだけど、ほんとその文化は日本にも入ってきてて、and この棒にさ、マシュマロをつけてこう焼くみたいな、その風景は日本でもすっごいポピュラーになってんだよね。だけど、
Okay.
yeah, it has become really popular because a lot of people nowadays go camping a lot in the summertime to get away from the heat and the sun. So we see a lot of people doing it, roasting the marshmallows, but the s'more はやこね、実際に昔からあるんだよね、アメリカでは。でも、子供の時はね、食べた記憶がなくて、だから大人になってから知ったんだけど、あれは美味しいよね。
It's very sugary and rich. It's
Yeah.
essentially a graham cracker crust, a graham
Yes.
cracker with your roasted marshmallow,
うん。
a piece of chocolate,
うん。
and then another graham cracker, and you kind of squish it down. And then the chocolate
おー。
melts because the marshmallow is hot. And then it's very like sticky and messy.
メッシーだよね、すごく。でも、これね、ヤコのね、悩みは、グラムクラッカーズがね、日本ではなかなか手に入らないの。アメリカで食べてたやつ。だからね、それが欲しい。誰か知ってる人がいたら教えてほしいって感じだね。
Well, because I'm gluten-free, I do have to bake my own. So you can bake your own graham cracker crust
それもすごい。
with your graham
確かにね。
crackers. Yeah.
I see. Maybe I should
If you
make my
were
own.
really, yeah, if you were really 手に入らない場合。
そうね、そうね。いや、作ることをちょっと考えようかな。メニューをちょっと調べてみて。Thank you for that idea.
And I think also with like the 4th of July and summertime, the other big thing that we have here, which is not popular in Japan as much, are pies. So berry pies, apple pies, blueberry pies, peach pies. Like it is the time of fruit and we love our pies in the summer.
そうね。そうなのよ。パイが結構また少ないんだよ。こっちだと。なんかタルトは結構見るんだけど、パイの形で、しかもフルーツが入ってるっていうのが、ヤコもね、いろいろ、特にね、チェリーは少ないんだよね、日本だと。チェリーパイとかチェリーなんとかみたいなのって。だからそれが食べたいのと、まあ、ブルーベリーは見るけど、もっこりいっぱい入ってるブルーベリーパイがなかなかないので、それは探したい。食べたくなってきた。はいはい。なるほど、ね。
Well, let's move to our rapid fire round of questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you our rapid fire questions. Yako-chan, are you ready?
はい、お願いします。
はい。What is your favorite summertime dessert?
あんみつ。ちょっ
Me too. Okay.
Okay.
Summer foods that remind you of your childhood.
まあ、バーベキューのハンバーグバーベキューしたハンバーグって感じかな。
Okay.
いや、ハンバーガーか。
One food you tried and didn't like.
Oh, that's tough. I hardly have anything I don't like. So 答えがないかな今のところ。
Okay.
Yeah.
And the best summer food for a picnic?
I'm very Japanese here. おにぎりです。
はい。Oh, yes.
じゃあちょっと今度ちーちゃん行くよ。
はい。
好きな夏のデザートは何ですか？
It has to be pie. I love apple pie. It's my favorite.
やっぱパイなんだね。OK。子供の頃思い出す夏の食べ物は何ですか？
スイカ。We had lots of suika in my house because it's my dad's favorite.
確かにね、お父さんたち大好きだよね、スイカね。OK。食べてみたけど好きになれなかった食べ物は？夏の食べ物か。これ難しいよね。
That's really hard question.
Right?
Yeah, I do have sukikirai, but I can't think of anything. Nothing is coming to mind.
わかる気がする。なので全然答えとして OK にしたいと思います。じゃあ、ピクニックにぴったりの夏の食べ物は何ですか？
Okay, so I'm old school Japanese too. Onigiri. There is no better food than omusubi for a picnic. How yummy.
これはね、なんかね、変えらんないと思う。他にいいものはないです。
Okay, to wrap up our episode today, we're going to end with our traditional pop quiz for this video.
Okay.
Where I'm going to be quizzing Yako on an American quiz question. And today's category is slang.
Okay.
Yako-chan, are you ready? Okay. Yako-chan, what is a brain freeze?
それね、頭がね、アイス食べた時に頭がもうキンキンキンってなって痛いやつ。
Yes! パチパチパチ。
たださ、日本語で言葉がなんだろうって感じなんだよね。
We also call it an ice cream headache.
Oh, you do? ちゃんと言葉があるよね。brain freeze とか、ね、ice cream headache みたいな。I was thinking, if I could give you a word for my answer って思ってたんだけど、意外とないかもしれない。
Oh, interesting.
そう。なんか頭が、キンキンしてきたとか、we say that when we actually have the brain freeze.
Yeah.
だけど。
But there's no actually word translation for brain freeze.
I don't think so. Like, if anyone knows, I would love to know って感じかな。But, yay! I got it right this time.
Good job!
Thank you. じゃあ、日本語の方に行きますね。
はい。
うなぎが、夏場すごくポピュラーなんですけれども、we have うな重 and うな丼。
はい。
What is the difference? 違いは何ですか？
丼は it's on rice.
Yes, it's on rice.
What is うな重? Because when you said it, I immediately thought of うな丼.
Oh, yeah, that's good because actually unaju is also on rice, but there's a specific difference, or it's more of how it looks.
Is it because it comes in the square thing versus the bowl?
多分そうだと思う。っていうか、this is just a general quiz. I'm not going to be technical, but yeah, usually if it's a Jew, it's in the box, the square box. Whereas if it's a don, it doesn't have to be the eel thing, the unagi. It's for anything. If it's Jew, it's in the box. If it's a don, it's in the round bowl.
The bowl. And it's just you have your rice and then whatever is on top. So in this case, it's the unagi.
Exactly.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Well, thank you for that, Yako-chan.
Hi.
So, okay. for you viewers, what is your favorite summertime food? If you've got something that we didn't cover today, let us know in the comments. We definitely want to know. Definitely give us a follow, give us a like. All of that helps us promote our YouTube channel and continue to produce great content. So thank you for watching and see you next time.
はい。そうですね。今日結構まだまだいっぱいあると思います。夏の食べ物ね。結構ね、かなりこう熱くなって喋っちゃったから、数は少ないと思うんで、皆さんもっといっぱいあると思うので、ぜひぜひコメント欄にどしどし、入れていっていただけたらと思います。そして、どんどんね、この会話ができるようになっていったら、役たちとしては嬉しいなと思いますので、ぜひ楽しんで皆さんにも紹介していただけたらなと思います。それではまた次回会いましょう。バイバイ。